It wasn't my internet. Matty V, welcome back. It wasn't even storming yet. I don't know. It's gonna be one of those nights apparently. Police now backing up protesters. Looks like I got back just in time. As the police start getting aggressive with the crowd. It looks like right now, Warlord. Right about now. Coming up, this is about the 6 o'clock hour in LA. Did they just shoot a munition or was that a firework from the crowd? No! What in the fuck? Come back to us. Everybody's having problems. Oh, they might have ended their stream. Seriously, they did have problems.
The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who's a Democrat, has sued President Trump over his deployment of the National Guard in Los Angeles against his wishes. He's accused Mr. Trump of seeking to manufacture a crisis. Rioting was sparked after the Trump administration sent immigration agents to detain unauthorized migrants in the city. President Trump says the move was necessary for law and order and that without it, LA would have been completely obliterated. Our correspondent John Sudworth is there. John.
Could have been completely obliterated. Let's skip back. Let's go back to. I got the other feed where they've got Mayor Bass speaking.
Are they just willy-nilly, grabbing people?
Oh, do you want Claudia to come to the microphone?
Yeah, they're just willy-nilly grabbing people. That's what's going on.
Sure.
And those 5 raids were from today?
Correct.
Okay.
And where was the one by what school?
She said that one of them was near her grandson's school.
What part of town?
LA,
Yeah.
but I think there was a question that. I guess the question is, so there's 5 raids today, where, if you're not being able to pinpoint ahead of time, how do you then respond and or set up or get people prepared if there are going to be more?
Well, it's not necessarily about preparing them, per se, now. It's our office, along with our community partners, have been unfortunately preparing for this moment, previously, for decades, through the Know Your Rights campaign, as you all know, with the red cards. And doing those campaigns, you all have been working with these community partners for decades, and this is the moment that a lot of them had been working with. This is the second time that this administration comes around, so unfortunately a lot of these partners really just activated this portfolio, and this is what they know how to do pretty well. And it's not really about preparing them, it's about bringing back that particular part of their portfolio and educating them about their rights, and really having the element of the.
She likes the word portfolio.
Part of the.
Oh, there's a Maynard.
With the migrant buses in our region.
Oh, hi. Hey, Holiday.
With that integrated part of the community, and letting them know what the sanctuaries, region really means, and letting them know what their rights.
No, it's kind of cool just having them on the back of my chair.
Letting them know that
Bobus, what's going on?
When the raids are going to happen, and that's why it is important for them to know their rights and for them to understand, what their rights.
Julie, welcome back.
Prepared and educated.
Sorry about that. It's not even storming yet.
That's really the only way they can, air quote, arm themselves, unfortunately.
Churla has a hotline that folks can call if they see a raid. Does the city have something similar where you all can kind of mobilize?
No.
The cops are currently trying to start a riot.
Response network, and so Churla is one of the leads for that.
You see, that is the live shot on the right. They are backing protesters up away from the federal building.
With the public, if they see anything, it's sort of like if you see
The tagline for North American ISPs, it isn't even storming yet.
Network, and they can find it in the ACLU website as well. If anyone sees,
It wasn't my ISP. The power went out.
Like a DHS vehicle, they call and say, I think that's what it is. Anyone.
My Lord, welcome in. Byronic, good evening.
Send someone out that can.
Fuck the popo.
In fact,
My power went out.
Or an actual federal law.
I'm under severe storm warnings all night, but it wasn't even storming yet, so I have no
That in
idea.
fact is, what you thought, or it's not.
It looks fine out there. I mean, it's not like sunny or
It
anything.
is, and that's how they count numbers, and that's how
But also, it's 9 o'clock, so it probably shouldn't be sunny.
Yeah. Well, let me just say thank you very much for being here today.
Fuck America.
Back here tomorrow. I am hopeful that the federal government will hear our plea. Stop the raids. This is creating fear and chaos in our city, and it is unnecessary. And I hope that we will be heard because our city is trying to move forward. And I
Now, what should be a fun clip, I have a Fox News reporter getting shot at by the cops.
From Mayor Karen Bass saying, stop the raids. It's creating fear and chaos in our city. Good evening. I'm David Ono.
And I'm Giovanna Lotta. You were listening to Mayor Bass, and she was clearly frustrated and upset by the recent developments in our city. She said, quote, last Thursday, nothing was happening in our city. Nothing warranted the raids. She is laying the blame of the city's violence squarely on the federal government and the raids that began on Friday. She noted that the White House initially had said its focus would be to conduct raids to find, quote, violent criminals. And she said, not workers at Home Depot. Mayor Bass also saying she heard a description of our city that talked about a migrant invasion, that said Los Angeles had been invaded and occupied by criminals and insurrectionists. She said that was not the case, adding, quote, we are a city of immigrants and we have always embraced that.
Absolutely. It was an impassioned press conference from the mayor. Clearly, she's given this a lot of hard thought, and those words came out today. She also...
I'm not high enough for this shit.
The protesters claiming that you can't be...
Cancel me. I deserve it.
And then vandalize their city. Case in point,
There's an awful cute cat on my chair.
Throughout this city of places that have been vandalized, have been broken into, have been looted. We saw a video of the Japanese American National Museum that was horribly vandalized. This is an entity that has been fighting for civil rights and immigrant rights for decades now, and yet that place was hit. And if you are a protester claiming to be fighting for civil rights, then you did just the opposite of what you statement that
what are you
trying to
doing
make by hitting a place like the Japanese American National Museum. All of these points are coming out by the mayor today, and one...
No, you can't sit on my mouse.
Asked what she felt about the Marines being deployed here to Los Angeles. She said, we didn't even need the National Guard, which leads us to our next story now. We have breaking news just moments ago. We're learning an additional 2,000 National Guard troops will be deployed to Los Angeles. And hang on one second. We understand that Chief McDonald now is making some extra points. Let's listen to him.
Yeah, I won't talk about any individual cases. There's a lot of cases where we have arrests. There's other cases that arrests are pending. So as far as on an individual basis, I don't have enough facts about
injuries, as I understand it, are minimal.
Can you talk about parallel tracks with having the federal, military here and having the other National Guard? Talk about how that, I don't want to say hinders.
I mean, we saw
what you guys do and kind of what
we saw the horses trample the
right now,
guy.
from a policing standpoint, we're dealing with civil unrest on the street, at the same time trying to protect peaceful protest or uphold people's First Amendment rights.
Yeah, Fox News reporter got shot and an Australian news reporter got shot. I have both clips.
Every day. We have a situation here where it has gotten out of control relative to some individuals in the crowd doing things that none of us would approve of. So we're trying to deal with them as best we can. The challenge are the crowds are very large, and they end up moving them from one place to another as we disperse them. And so we're trying to be show restraint and be as judicious as we can about how we do this. But as I mentioned, a lot of the follow-up investigation that'll follow will hold people accountable.
I mean, the California National Guard is there, but it's under the command of
potentially the Marines here.
the federal government.
How you are kind of working that and the impact it's having on the public.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure the level of anxiety, particularly in our immigrant community, is extremely high. And so we certainly understand that.
Yeah, we saw the National Guard standing shoulder to shoulder with
any group anywhere about
federal agents from DHS.
And as far as civil immigration,
they were on the front steps of the federal building where ICE is staging their raids.
It basically just changes the manual, the policy and procedure manual that's going to be printed the following year, back when we printed them. And so that order came out in 1979. So for 46 years now, the rules of the LAPD have been, we do not stop people to find out their immigration status, and that is not a factor in any subsequent interaction we have with them. And so my hope is that the public continues to trust the LAPD to come forward if
trust the LAPD
and not let their immigration status get in the way of their seeking help from the police department. That is not our role, and if we were to take that on as a role, it would be against our interest as the providers of law enforcement and safety for our community, because it would erode public trust.
All right. Jim McDonald, police chief now, LAPD chief. A lot of points that he's been making this afternoon, too. One is that you saw probably video of reporters being hit in the field. That's being investigated. You also saw people that seem to be not doing anything wrong also receiving some violence from law enforcement. He says both of those incidents are being investigated. But back to what he's talking about now, and that is the fact that the National Guard is already here. Marines may be coming here, and now new information that, well, first of all, the Pentagon is formally deploying 700 Marines. We don't even know what that's going to look like, Giovanna.
Right, a lot developing. And Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes is
for no reason.
Those details about the
Avalon, welcome in.
Government is sending.
Yeah, Giovanna and David, it seemed like every hour that passed today seemed to bring with it an escalation of force. What started with our local law enforcement has expanded to National Guard members, mutual aid partners from other agencies in the region, and now even U.S. Marines. The president and governor acting independently of each other and both pumping up the number of armed people here. When it comes to President Donald Trump's response to LA's immigration protests, Trump is doing what he generally does, doubling down. After calling in the California National Guard over the weekend, Trump has now ordered U.S. Marines to deploy to LA, an estimated 700 of them from 29 Palms.
Combat troops are trained to locate the enemy, engage them, and kill them. They're not trained to carry out law enforcement activities in our communities within the United States.
John Cohen.
Spoiler alert, our military is actually better at law enforcement activities.
Situation, or ask other law enforcement agencies to assist if needed.
Especially the Marines.
To the mix, Cohen says, increases the danger, and not only to the protesters.
It may result in law enforcement officers, military personnel, or even those peacefully demonstrating in a constitutionally protected way, may result in them getting hurt.
And just about an hour ago, Governor Gavin Newsom announced that Trump is deploying an additional 2,000 guardsmen to L.A. Newsom accusing the president of purposely escalating the tensions here.
He made this up. This is a manufactured crisis.
Newsom releasing a statement today saying he's now shifting 800 more local and state police officers to L.A. Chaos is exactly what Trump wanted. Now we are sending in hundreds more law enforcement to pick up the pieces. This afternoon, California Attorney General Rob Bonta filed a lawsuit against Trump, claiming he does not have the authority to activate the California National Guard.
This is a law that requires the governor's consent to activate the National Guard. This is the first time since 1965 that a president has activated the National Guard without a request from the state's governor.
Bonta's claims may be accurate and steeped in legal standing, but experts say there is a good chance the courts will find in Trump's favor.
The courts are very deferential to the president when it comes to the deployment of troops.
Meanwhile, when asked about an ugly back and forth between Newsom and Homeland Security Secretary Tom Homan, in which Homan mentioned the possibility of arresting Newsom, the president today urged him to do it.
I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great.
The hell is this guy? Come after
Seriously.
me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy.
Now, as for arresting Newsom, the Secretary of Homeland Security has already walked that back, saying it would only happen if the governor interfered with federal immigration efforts. Giovanna, David.
Rob Hayes, thank you for that report, a story we will continue to follow. Right now, we want to switch gears and talk about our weather. Some sunshine this afternoon after a morning of June gloom.
Well, let's talk about the weather. Oh, I like this guy.
Weather pattern for Southern California.
He's wild.
Changed that a great deal. We have the early morning fog and low clouds. This is for downtown and inland Orange County.
I feel like he should be a used car dealer instead of a weatherman.
Real significance. I think the weather looks great. Now, out in the valley areas, we will keep you anywhere between 88 and 92. That includes the areas like Riverside, our friends out there in the IE. A warm weekend is coming, but
come on, don't
not very
tell
hot.
me.
So that's
every single one of you have a used car dealer that looks like that
we got a lot of
in your community,
which is also what happens at the beaches during the June time. 71, 72. Surface southwest swell at about 2 to 3 feet. There will be an increasing swell surface coming in for you as we get into Saturday.
Looks exactly like that guy.
Beach,
tell me I'm wrong.
75 and
tell me when I'm telling lies.
Mountain forecast, a lot of sunshine in the mountains, high country, Lake Arrowhead, Big Bear. And temperatures today was 81 at Big Bear, and that's just about where we're going to stay all the way through the 7-day period. Now let's go to the desert.
Oh, God. How am I wrong? I ain't wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Everyone probably wants to see the Fox News crew get attacked first, don't you? In Colombia, a senator got shot in the fucking head, and he's hanging on for his life. We ain't got time to talk about that because Trump's trying to do a coup over here.
You're looking at some of the many scenes, just some of the many scenes. Parts of Los Angeles were a mess over the weekend. You've got immigrants
just parts.
setting off 3 days of often violent protests.
Those look like kids.
Into riots. So good morning, everybody. On a Monday, we'll see where we are now. Hope you enjoyed the weekend. Back into the week we go. I'm Bill Hemmer live in New York. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm Dana Perino, and this is America's Newsroom. It feels like there's sort of friction happening everywhere, especially in Los Angeles. They are reeling from day 3 of chaos. Anti-ICE agitators fighting with police, some of them waving foreign flags. And we've seen people hurling rocks and bottles at police cars.
Yeah,
some
good.
even smashing windows at the LAPD headquarters.
So, Dana, the rioters are also torching a row of Waymo driverless taxis that are in use in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, police force
because those things suck.
Freeway after protesters ground traffic to a halt. President Trump deploying thousands of National Guard troops and saying the federal response could escalate from here.
What's the bar for sending Marines to
the bar is what I think it is. I mean, if
what I think it is.
To our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
Sending active Marines on the table, sir. Secretary Heck.
We're going to see what we need. We'll send whatever we need to make sure there's law and order.
So now Team Fox coverage. Kayleigh McEnany has analysis. Rich Edson reports at the White House. First to L.A. on the ground. Jonathan Hunt leads our coverage on this Monday. Jonathan, where are we now? Hello.
Good morning to you, Bill. We are still in what is a very tense situation in downtown Los Angeles. You can see one of dozens of police roadblocks that have been set up in the area behind me here. That is because we are right outside the Metropolitan Detention Center. That is where the protesters believe some of the immigrants caught up in the raids over the last few days are still being held. And let me bring you over.
Indeed.
Bill. This is the 101 freeway you were just mentioning, and this is the exact spot that was shut down in both directions yesterday when thousands of protesters showed up in downtown LA.
Anonymously, welcome in.
Made their way onto this freeway. That is where we also saw several California
Marino, we got our eye on you.
On fire by the protesters as they continued to battle with law enforcement, who returned
welcome in
with tear gas, in some cases rubber bullets. It has been a very intense 3 days throughout here, and the LAPD chief Jim McDonnell at one point essentially admitted during a news conference last night that the LAPD on its own could not cope. Listen here to the police chief.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing.
Because they're throwing rocks.
They'll take backpacks, and the backpack will have a cinder block in it. They have a hammer, and they'll break up the cinder block and use that, pass it around to throw at officers. There's no limit to what they're doing to our officers.
Now, LA Mayor Karen Bass also held a news conference.
Billionaires are the real enemy, not immigrants. Exactly.
Condemned pretty unequivocally all acts of violence, but at the same time, she said that the violence, in her view, was to some extent sparked by the presence of the National Guard. Here's the
ironic, given what's getting ready to happen, right?
Situation from happening. I was trying to encourage the administration that if they deployed the National Guard in Los Angeles, it would create a sense of chaos. It's the last thing our city needs.
Now, Bill and Dana, going back to the police chief, his press conference was particularly interesting. I was on air hosting Fox News at Night Friday night when this all began to unfold. And as we showed our viewers and I watched the live pictures coming in, it struck me, where is the LAPD? They were certainly slow to deploy. Now, the police chief said in that news conference they had to get organized, but at the same time, he also said they do not want law enforcement to be politicized, and he seemed to be at pains in that press conference to say the LAPD is no part of the ICE actions. So it seems fair to question, as many at the White House have, whether the LAPD was slow to get involved initially because of the tinderbox of a political situation we have here. And it remains tense today. As I said, another protest due to gather at around 11 a.m. here in downtown LA. National Guard is on the streets, hundreds of them we have seen today, and these police roadblocks all over downtown LA. So the tinderbox is ready to be lit once again today, Bill and
Okay,
Dana.
a couple things. Let's go through it together, Jonathan.
Well, it's because it's a Democratic state with a Democratic mayor.
On behalf of the LAPD. Now, the police department came out and said that was not the case.
So the cops aren't good in this case.
Incident where they were 37 minutes delayed because of
or at least from
traffic and
Fox's point of view.
I don't know how in the end we run that story down. The place where you are, is that where ICE would take those that they've apprehended who are in the country illegally?
It's one of the places that they might take some of those that they have arrested over the last few days. ICE is not telling us where they have taken all of those that they have arrested, Bill. And to go back to the police chief again and the role of the LAPD, again, I watched it Friday night. It did seem to me they were very, very slow indeed. I did not count the minutes. I couldn't tell you whether it was 2 hours, an hour and 9 minutes, an hour and 39 minutes. But it did seem that they did not get out on the streets of LA to do what what was needed to be done to enforce the law, to keep the peace as quickly as they might have. What the organizational difficulties in doing that were, that's not for me to say. I'm not a law enforcement expert. The police chief said that it's simply a case of getting organized. He said if they send 1 or 2 squad cars, they could get surrounded. That becomes a much more dangerous situation. But there's certainly legitimate questions to be asked of those who are able to answer them as to where the LA...
There's a reporter on the other side of the street as well.
...going on this. I have to say, over the last 48 hours, they have certainly made their presence felt. And as you can see behind me here, this is just one of many roadblocks, Bill. And just to give you an idea of the tension in the air here, we came into downtown around 3 a.m. this morning, Bill. We approached one of these police roadblocks just around the corner.
Wait for it.
Here. We're near the City Hall area, so this is the heart of everything. And
ooh, did you see what that sign said? I'm not going to repeat it.
With one of our security guys.
That doesn't mean I disagree with it.
We were fired on with a flashbang grenade. They landed it just a couple of yards in front of our vehicle. These guys were not playing around this morning. Everybody very tense. The simple answer to us...
oh, we don't get to see it?
...was don't even dare. Get back. That's how tense the situation is in LA today, Bill and Dana.
So, Jonathan, that's my question, which is, what do you expect today or even into tonight? Do you think
apparently, it didn't happen to him on air.
A little bit.
Boo!
It's an awful thing to do, to predict more riots, more violence, but it's hard to see anybody backing down at this point, Dana. The protesters have another gathering called for beginning at 11 a.m. That's 2 p.m. Eastern today. That's in Grand Park, just a couple of blocks from where we are right now. I can tell you that behind me, behind those police vehicles you see, earlier today there was a line of National Guard protecting the Metropolitan.
So I don't know if I believe the Fox reporter that he got attacked with flashbangs if I don't get to see it myself.
6:09 in the morning.
He told some other half-truths while he was on air. Let's go to this.
This situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber.
This was from yesterday. The day before yesterday.
Part of LA. You just shut the fuck up.
On camera, I saw it.
I'm good.
There was what?
Good morning. We begin with
the fuck.
Bullets of protesters moving them on.
Why? Why is he shooting at her?
Through the heart of LA. You just shut the fuck up.
You okay?
I'm good.
Insanity.
Begin with developing news out of Los Angeles, where tensions have reached boiling point. Tear gas and rubber bullets fired as protesters clash with police over immigration raids. Straight to US correspondent.
Well, that wasn't a protester, clearly.
What's the latest as we come to you? Kate, this situation really unravelled about 90 minutes ago and has been out of hand ever since. If I can just show you here the amount of riot police that are on the street. This is actually an on-ramp onto the 101 freeway in Los Angeles. We're in the heart of downtown right now, and this area has just been entirely shut down by police and by protesters. If we can just have a look over in the distance there, you can see the dark black smoke. That is coming from a vehicle that has been set alight by protesters as they move through the city here. There have been thousands of people throughout the day. Things had been relatively on and off, a little bit of moments of chaos. But then it was unclear what exactly sparked this big movement from police. They came through on...
they just wanted to be aggressive.
Tear gas, firing those flashbang grenades and moving through so quickly. Officers here are actually heading down onto the highway now.
This is from yesterday, Girl of the Gray.
Walking down. This is a major freeway in Los Angeles.
We'll take the live shot here in just a second. We were watching
But
reporters get attacked by the police.
Protesters.
This Australian reporter shot with I believe a rubber bullet.
I think they might be down there again.
Rubber bullet kisses.
That are walking through here. These officers are all armed with batons. As this situation continues to develop. But all of this, Kate, this is now day 3, is happening in protest of the immigration and customs raids that have been unfolding in Los Angeles. Undocumented migrants have been the target of these raids. They were a surprise and has sparked such fierce anger throughout Los Angeles. This is a city that is made up of so many immigrants. There is actually around 10% of the city that is undocumented migrants. That's hundreds of thousands of people, and there is just so much anger here in Los Angeles right now.
Yeah, Lauren, and these are incredible scenes that we're seeing at the moment. It has now entered the evening there. I know you and your cameraman yourselves, you got caught up in...
Those Waymos, they melted. They were just like a crumpled up piece of aluminum foil. It was wild.
It definitely feels that way. And, you know, we can see vehicles on fire. There have been at least 3 cars that have been set alight by protesters. This is now day 3, and certainly the evenings have been getting a little more out of hand. But what we have been seeing in the past 90 minutes or so is by far and away the most significant escalation here on the ground. I'm going to stay here a little bit further away from these police because they have been firing a lot of tear gas. It has been so heavy in the air, but even
a little foreshadowing
to be deterring these protesters. That's one of those flashbang grenades. They're being let off in an effort to try and deter these protesters, but I keep seeing fireworks in the distance as well. Protesters are lobbing things back at these officers. It really is kind of a mix of the LAPD, these riot police, and then of course we've seen those soldiers on the ground here in Los Angeles. The National Guard, there are at least 300 deployed by the Donald Trump administration. The US president ordering in those National Guardsmen and putting them under federal service. That in itself is such a significant move. Normally it would be something that...
I'll show you the video of the Waymos from yesterday. Here in just a second.
In this case, Donald Trump bypassed Governor Gavin Newsom, who was calling for these federal soldiers to move on out of Los Angeles. Look, the last time that was done, Kate, was more than 50 years ago, back in 1965. So it is...
yeah, once again, to integrate schools.
And everyone that I've spoken to here today, the very vast majority of them have been from Los Angeles. They just say they want these National Guardsmen out. They want these immigration and customs enforcement agents out. And it just doesn't feel like anything is going to let up until that happens. I mean, if we can just show you this man here.
And Trump has said that they will continue to occupy, literally using that language.
Fire off tear gas canisters and then those rubber bullets as well, which we've been seeing the crowd peppered with. But look, across the road there, the Mexican flag, we've seen quite a number of those, of course, huge Mexican population in Los Angeles as well. So look,
the city literally has a Mexican name.
It feels very tense, very, very heightened emotions here.
Yeah, very volatile scenes.
Where do you think the name Los Angeles comes from? Oh, I thought we were gonna see like the part where she got attacked during that report.
Has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving.
This was where she got hit with the rubber bullet for no reason.
Moving them on through the heart of LA.
She's clearly a reporter. That cop has to know. Shoots her for no goddamn reason.
You okay?
I'm good. The hours of standing off this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
He just did it for the fun of it. And he has to know he's on camera. That is clearly a reporter.
You okay?
I'm good.
It's insanity.
Continues.
Oh, this is not the See, there's not that much going on right now. Everything is rather peaceful. Go over to KTL or KTLA. Casey, welcome in.
And the crowds are coming back with us. People continue to chant, to shout, to wave their flags and banners.
Huh.
Many of them.
360 is the best quality we can do.
The Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency of the Homeland Security Department of the U.S. federal government.
The cops still backing the crowd up. This is the last time we saw the live shot
the Los
from
Angeles
the helicopter. That's what was going on.
So the crowd continues to move back here along First Street. And ultimately, they're hoping people will just leave the area and go home and disperse altogether.
That is what has happened every night.
Ultimate objective here, to bring some sense of order and quiet back to the streets. But when that will happen is anyone's guess at this point. But there is a huge law enforcement presence. We now know 700 active duty Marines are joining the mission down here, joining thousands of National Guard troops deployed by the Trump administration to protect federal property and federal government personnel and to help quell violent eruptions here in the streets of...
Yeah, what violence? All the violence has been coming from
Thank you so much
the cops.
For down there on the ground. We do have that view from Sky 5 and Gil Labus, who's overhead as we watch this start to dissipate just a little. And perhaps from your view, you can tell us from what you saw earlier to what we're looking at now, the difference that this skirmish line is making.
It's making a big difference in the number of protesters that are here at the front line, at the skirmish line as they continue pushing east. Now, you may have seen just a few minutes ago that the team of LAPD officers that started running down the sidewalk, they ran to that next intersection, like I was saying, and then they set up that skirmish line there to keep the people moving to the east instead of going south down Central there. So we'll likely see that happen here coming up to Alameda shortly. There's the Metro train station there at First and Central. So the crowd continues to get pushed back. They're almost to that point right now, but the crowd has definitely thinned out. What ended up happening was the people that were in the back, in this area, once they saw those officers running towards them, they took off running, and some of them did turn southbound there before the officers could get there, but many others continued eastbound here on First Street. So the good news is that what the tactic is doing is it's thinning out the crowd, basically, separating them, fractioning the crowds out in different directions. It's basically breaking up the crowd and moving them the direction that LAPD wants them to move, which is away from the Civic Center area. That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Really an effective effort that we have seen play out over the last hour plus by LAPD officers on the ground.
I don't know what they mean by effective. Like, nothing's been going on.
Happening not just in Los Angeles County, but immigration raids in Orange County as well today in the city of Santa Ana. That, according to Representative Lou Correa, the Santa Ana Police Department also indicating the activity happening in the Santa Ana Civic Center area. This is a live picture now of downtown Santa Ana. So the raids not just isolated to Los Angeles County, now moving into Orange County as well. We're working to get more information on what may be happening here in Orange County in the city of Santa Ana. A crew is on the way as well, and we will effort that information and get it to you as soon as we understand better what's happening. But certainly immigration enforcement action happening in Orange County at this moment.
All right, and Waymo is steering clear of downtown Los Angeles. Further notice after 5 of its driverless cars were
they should.
Protests.
Now, many are wondering what the Waymo cars were doing in the chaotic area in the first place. Angelique Cockaday live in Hollywood with more on that story. Angelique.
Angelique Cockaday?
Like, I have the Waymo app right up in front of me right now. Any request to go in and out.
Oh, yeah, we've been through this, haven't we?
You'll get hit with
Cockaday.
Service in this area is unreachable. Again, all this as we continue into day 4 of protests. People looking for a ride in downtown Los Angeles won't be getting into a Waymo anytime soon. A request pickup or drop-off is met with, "I can't get to that spot right now" notice as the driverless car company announced it was suspending service in the area after 5 vehicles were set on fire during Sunday's ICE protests. Our KTLA crew on the ground captured the moment it all went down.
Fuck them Waymos.
Los Angeles. What we've been hearing is that some of
Not enough for this shit.
using some sort of accelerant, possibly spray paint, working to light that, and that's how they've been able to get these on fire.
A Waymo spokesperson confirmed to KTLA the decision to spend
Really? Spray paint?
was in guidance from the LAPD.
Flash, what would be the utility of using spray paint as the accelerant?
Where they called by
as opposed to, I would figure some sort of
way out of the chaos.
chemical cleaner, a duster or some sort.
Protesters taking pictures in front
It burns.
of
Fair enough.
cars, estimated to cost between $150,000 to $200,000 each. And at one point, video shows one of them exploding.
Due to the design of EV battery systems, it's often difficult to apply the water directly to the burning cells, especially in a chaotic environment.
LAFD saying they had to let the cars burn, which causes an increased threat to the public.
When lithium-ion batteries burn, they release hydrogen fluoride gas. That's a highly toxic substance. It can damage.
There we go.
It could be
Holiday came up with the reason.
And it can cause serious internal harm.
Now, Waymo says disruptions in service in and out of downtown Los Angeles could cause extra wait times and different reroutes in other parts of Los Angeles. That's definitely something to keep in mind. Meanwhile, the company has not given any update on when service could be restored. For now, reporting live in Hollywood, Angelique Hockaday, I'll send it back to you.
Angelique, thank you. We want to go back to Sky 5 and Gil Levis overhead with a bird's eye view of the area right now. And this in Little Tokyo area, what looks like
that's good, Mike.
It looks like the crowd has really thinned out quite a bit, Gil.
Who's going to be bitching about no taxis? Waymos are a blight on society. That's like the worst company.
Just before
well, no, I can't say that. There's some horrible fucking companies.
Crowd running ahead of the LAPD as they ran down the street.
This is one of the worst companies of the last 10 years.
Further east. Now, as I come out to a wide shot, you see the intersection there. That's Alameda and First Street. Now, interestingly enough, we'll see if the LAPD tries to push the crowd further east from that point. We don't know what the plan is at this point, if they want to send them south or further east beyond Alameda. But for now, they've stopped here right next to the Metro train station at First and Central, and we'll see what they decide to do there. I can hear them talking about it on the scanners, what the next move will be to disperse this crowd even further. But for now,
yeah, but if they're truly evil, Flash, they've lasted, they've existed longer than 10 years.
Temple on Los Angeles Street. That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5, and I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Gil, thank you. SEIU President David Huerta, as we've been reporting, was released from federal custody this
Yes, I was going to get into that. Let's
he was arrested while protesting
let's head to the news. We'll come back to the live shot here in a little bit. Let's find out what that news be doing. As I said, most of it revolves around this. LA not the only protest. This is catching on. Nationwide. Protests in D.C. today. I'm also going to take you to live shots. Dallas and Austin both have anti-ICE protests.
The CBS News 24/7, fire and fury in some parts of Los Angeles. No, some Angelinos went about their weekend no problem. But others saw protests.
I heard that a lot of people in Los Angeles didn't even know this shit was going on.
Over immigration crackdowns. So let's talk about this.
Because it was only on like 2 streets.
Jake Rosen is joining us now. Jake, take us through the National Guard deployment in California and why that's really creating state-to-state, federal-to-state issues and tension.
Sure, Reed. So we saw President Trump yesterday and late Saturday go through the motions to officially bring in.
It probably is, Flash.
The National Guard. from California, which has not been done in a context
probably is the most sprawling mega city in the world
since the Civil Rights Movement, about 1965, I believe. What we really see here is the local officials, including Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. Obviously, Gavin Newsom has been very outspoken about this for the entirety of the Trump administration, not just specifically in one incident, but that they do not want federal intervention, specifically on things like law enforcement, because given what is going on right now with these ICE raids across the state, and specifically in Los Angeles County, that are continuing, that he said going into this that he believes this would escalate tensions. It certainly looks like it did, just in terms of the crowds that we've seen at some of these protests. Gavin Newsom has said all along that he intends to sue the Trump administration over this mobilization.
They did file that lawsuit today.
Specifically what that looks like so far, potentially more to come on that later today. But right now what we've seen is President Trump and his allies, including the FBI director, Attorney General Pam Bondi, you name it, the top law enforcement officials in the country, saying that they will not stand for what they see as an attack on police officers, while Gavin Newsom is saying they basically had this under control. Yes, it was certainly many blips on the radar and caused some big response from state officials, but they did not.
Federal intervention is not inevitable. ICE can get the fuck out of there.
And more violence.
Okay, so, we've seen in our country rallies, riots, response, and we knew very early on that you would see the comparison to the Capitol riots of January 6th to this, why National Guard troops were not called in. All of those questions remain. What is the conversation today as we start a new week on that point and through that lens, Jake?
Well, it's really from the not just 2021 and January 6th read, but going back to what we saw in the summer of 2020, right, where there was this mass mobilization and full entire city blocks were burning, and the Trump administration eventually had to go in. That is just not what has happened so far yet in Los Angeles, despite what President Trump and his allies have claimed. There is no siege going on in Los Angeles. There is no full-on takeover, but it's hard to dismiss some of the images that we've seen in terms of how police have responded violently, and the rhetoric coming from the Trump administration saying, basically, you touch a cop, you assault the cop, we're going to fully prosecute you, in the context of what we've seen over the last 5 months or so from the president and his allies pardoning those who were involved actively in January 6th, ending the investigation into people who stormed the Capitol that day, and conversations that we know and have reported on at CBS that are still ongoing about fully pardoning the rest of people who did not fully receive that full pardon from President Trump. The images you can see on your screen right now of people taking over federal buildings and there being no National Guard, there being a lack of military and
Mexican flag dirt biker, super cool.
To what looks like, specifically in this case, yes, there are some people armed, but it looks like some agitators essentially tried to co-opt what was a peaceful protest.
Well, as we look back, we can also tell our viewers there's a right now angle to what is happening in the headlines. Jake, right now there's an anti-ICE protest that's happening right near the Justice Department, not far from where you are. This one involves a top union leader taken into ICE custody. Tell us what you know about this case as we look at these live images.
This is Randy Weingarten of the...
Well, you can see Free David and those signs in the background of the woman who is speaking. David Huerta is a union leader for the SEIU union. He represents about 750,000 people in that part of California. He was there, the union says, as part of a community observer to make sure that things did not get out of hand, right? Going back to that local angle of what we're talking about.
Are they going to show the video of him get slammed to the ground?
He was arrested and actually hospitalized as a result.
I don't know for a fact that's who that is. I think that's who that is.
Has charged him with a crime that could potentially result in 6 years of prison. It is conspiracy to impede an officer. We'll see whether they go through fully on a
That is the head of the teachers union.
We're expecting
if that's who that is.
In Central California, where he's likely to be put in front of a judge for the first time, as his attorneys will likely move for him to be released from custody. And obviously these activists are calling for the same. Certainly one high-profile arrest so far in this of a man who's not accused of any violence, but just conspiracy to impede. We should just emphasize that, getting in the way of law.
Conspiracy to impede.
David Huerta is well known in the state of California.
That's what I was thinking, DJ. I haven't seen her in a couple of years. That kind of looks like her.
Not only is his,
you know the way I am with faces.
Potentially for the Trump administration.
Because, yeah, probably like the last time I saw her would have been like in 2020, maybe. Maybe. This is what they were talking about. The SEIU president
Fiscal's live shot. SEIU California Union leader David Huerta was just released on bond after being arrested during a protest against an ICE raid last week. He spoke just moments ago, and here's what he had to say.
The greatness of America is still yet to come.
That's right.
The greatness of
David Huerta, released earlier,
is an ideal that we all fight for. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Huerta faces a felony charge of conspiracy to impede an officer. He is due back in court for a hearing later this month.
And LA, of course, on the receiving.
Insanity. The SEIU president. Flash tells him to embrace being a silver fox. So there has been someone called the Australian reporter an outside agitator. There have been outside agitators, apparently, handing out gas masks and riot gear.
I see Matthew Seedorf, our reporter, looks like he's ready to go. And Matthew, I don't know if you can hear us. Where are you at as we check in with you for the first time today? We can't hear you yet. Hopefully we can get that mic turned on somehow.
Check, check, 1, 2.
There we go.
Yep.
Now we got you.
We hear you. Yes. You got us?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're at Los Angeles and Temple, also outside the federal building where I believe Christina Gonzalez is live. You can see the crowds just coming in and almost feel the energy building. We've been seeing people up here at Los Angeles and Temple doing donuts in the street. And then if you look out here, this is the federal building right now. The National Guard is...
Yeah, I believe this was earlier today.
With, it looks like federal police next to them. I don't know if you can see, but further down.
This is when I thought it was looking like it was going to get
101, there's a line
out of hand.
Local
things might pop off.
Trying to prevent people from going towards the 101 this afternoon, like what we saw yesterday. But again, you have this massive crowd outside the federal building. We've seen people getting dropped off. Lots of people wearing masks. They're carrying milk jugs, prepping for whatever that they're prepping for, just in case.
Whatever that they're prepping for.
More clashes with police tonight. But we see someone juggling right now. This car, if you look at Los Angeles Street and Temple, this is the car we've been seeing doing donuts in the intersection here for the last 30 minutes or so. Actually, someone's climbing this light pole right now on Temple Street.
Well,
so
hey.
You can just feel an energy in the air of uncertainty after the last few nights of what we've experienced across LA.
What has he got? Is he got a
light pole here?
Has he got a selfie stick in his pocket?
Police at this intersection where we're standing right now. So,
well, we do know on the other side.
Are outside the federal building.
Yeah. On the other side, the other side from you.
Is there anywhere we could find a cop nearby?
Okay. The box right there on the left.
Don't narc.
Yeah. So I noticed the way. Yeah, I noticed the way they have you set up today. It looks like you got a bunch of media colleagues. Is this sort of an intentional thing to kind of keep everybody safe in their quarters with their security? I mean, is it a different setup than what we've seen in terms of just the sort of chaos?
I'm sorry, DJ Dub. You're right. Cancel Justin.
Yeah, I think it's just people trying to stay safe after what we've seen. You know, you don't want to get too close to the action where you could get hit by a rubber bullet or a rock that's being thrown from protesters towards police as well. As it looks like, we
rock.
Now look at this, dropping off food and water. I mean, preparations are underway for what could be a long night right now.
Interesting to see that. Christina Gonzalez was saying that this is not an organized rally like we saw earlier in the day where you have the different organizations that are backing some of these protests. This is more, she said, organic, and maybe that's what you're seeing there. I'm hoping that is...
What are those boxes?
Are those masks of some sort? Are those gas masks?
I'm trying to see that doesn't look like food and
those
water.
are...
Looks like masks.
Yeah, no, those are masks. Yeah, so people are prepping for some sort of altercation with police.
Remember, this is just a couple hours ago.
Yeah, this is a different scene than what
intersection, like I.
Yeah. I mean, we saw
at this intersection, like I said, there's no local police. We've been seeing the burnouts.
A very different scene. And are those hats that you wear that are more like helmets? I mean, this is a worrying sight. I mean, Christina's sight, which is
why the cops look like that.
She was describing a festive atmosphere, and it looked like a lot of folks, including a lot of older folks, who were there for the right reasons.
Have you seen the way the cops are dressed?
Yeah. Troublemakers. You don't put on. Probably don't put on.
Oh! Is riot gear a sight of troublemakers? Because just pan your camera over to the left a little bit.
Well, the woman who was handing out the masks, you see her quite clearly there in that beige T-shirt. She's not covering her face at all. So I would love to hear from her as to what this is about. Alex, you do bring up the fact that this could.
It's not beige.
It is a Monday and not the weekend, so you're wondering how many people are wanting to stick around through the evening. Matthew, do you get a feel at all for this crowd? You've been out there for the past couple days.
Yeah, it reminds me of when we got to Paramount on Saturday. Here we have another person doing a little bit of a burnout there in the intersection, where you can feel an energy in the air. It's hard to describe. Where
yeah, she looked like somebody I'd be friends with.
Going to happen, and you're waiting for it to happen. And you can look around. You see the National Guard in front of the federal building, but as far as this intersection where we're seeing all this take place, there's no local police to be seen.
Yeah,
and we have people handing out masks and gas masks, and
well, that changes in just a couple hours.
The sidewalk right in front of this truck, and we've seen people doing burnouts in the street. And there's no local law enforcement around.
Let us clarify, because we've been showing a wide shot and from a different angle. A whole lot of officers on the other side of the federal building.
This is about the time I came on the first time.
Point of view, but I can tell you there are many LAPD cars and officers there that have staged. They are blocking that freeway overpass, so protesters can't get on that overpass.
This is about 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Bricks or concrete or scooters down on law enforcement that was below that had cleared the 101 freeway. So perhaps they're not where you are, but there's a lot of them already positioned there. They're not getting caught off guard by a crowd gathered here.
So, I mean, that was quite a...
Is that Bad Bunny?
There of these folks, and your photographer just gave us a great shot of the box that was left behind, which showed the brand
yeah, good job, news station.
It's not the kind of thing, thank you for seeing this there. It looks like a bionic shield is what that's called. I mean, that's not the kind of thing that you buy in bulk if you don't plan on doing something with it.
Once again, did you see what the cops were wearing? Did you see the munitions they were using? What you're doing is defending yourself from the cops. Apparently, this restaurant in Compton has become a haven for the police, which Eazy-E be rolling over in his grave if he knew that. The hell?
Right to Compton now, where a restaurant became a safe haven as protests escalated over the weekend. Both demonstrators and law enforcement found refuge inside.
Yeah, the owner tells our Rena Nakano it wasn't about taking sides, it was about protecting her community.
Pupusas on the grill, fried eggs on the plate. It's business as usual at La Ceiba Restaurante in Compton. But on Saturday afternoon, owner Elizabeth Mendoza says she was afraid for her life.
Damn, look at them pants.
At war? Her restaurant was feet away from the violent clash between protesters and law enforcement, agitators doing donuts and burning cars. As an immigrant from El Salvador, Mendoza says she sympathizes with the protesters. She says the raids are affecting many of her longtime customers.
My kids, my husband, we're okay.
Yeah?
I know a lot of people came, they don't have paper, they don't have anything, but they want to work.
So when protesters needed water, napkins, or food, she handed it to them. As the situation escalated, she realized her business was the only one open. Mendoza tells me throughout the day she got phone calls from her friends and family telling her to close up the shop and leave. But she tells me something told her to stay.
So she handed out water to protesters and shit. That's awesome.
happy when the people need it.
At around 5:30, an LA sheriff's deputy came in, fully armed. He was crouched over, suffering from what seemed to be a chemical irritant. Seconds later, a few more walked in. Then a female deputy took off her gas mask. She was in tears.
One of these get milk, pour milk and ice in her face.
That's probably what it was. It was backsplash or something.
The deputies into the walk-in freezer to cool them down. They sat others down, gave them food and water.
Yeah, seriously.
Scanning them.
Everybody work for help the police.
When asked why they did it, Mendoza says it's not about siding with one or the other. To her, both
but it's clearly, hold on, it is about siding one against the other because the cops are gonna come for you. They're on the side. God damn it.
Not about siding with one or the other. To her, both the protesters and deputies are her beloved customers. They're part of her community.
People like me, they work to the community.
In Compton, I'm Rena Nakano, KCAL News.
Technically the cops are on the side of the state. They're under the command of Bass and Newsom, who are technically opposed to the federal government, but that's not how law enforcement, all of those cops are going to side with ICE and the feds if it comes down to it. But like the complicated situation, I see what she's saying. Damn, were her pants tight. Those were some tight ass pants. Let's get this live shot. This was posted by Forbes like just minutes ago.
They're getting instructions over the radio to coordinate. That's a firecracker. We've seen protesters throwing firecrackers.
So this is from this angle when they're pushing them back. That's the federal building is right over to the right.
So someone broke through the line. That is somebody.
We saw them do this from the helicopter shot.
Don't listen.
This is about 2 hours ago.
That's what happens. That person tried to use that scooter to zip through law enforcement, and you can see zip ties on, and that person is being detained as we're watching.
Yeah, we saw this from the helicopter shot.
We need to back up. Back up. Back up. Do you have your mask?
So this was the start of the operation to push the protesters back from the federal building.
Here comes the sheriff's department. Mike, over here. I was showing you the next wave of law enforcement, and that is what you are seeing. And you can see the weapon there. That is a non-lethal device, and that is to clear the crowd. Okay, this particular sheriff-type vehicle with this number of law enforcement.
Sheriff-type vehicle?
It is the first time I have personally seen it here in downtown Los Angeles. In this instance, I've seen it deployed in other cases, in other civil unrest, other disturbances. But in this particular wave, this is the first time I've seen these.
So you're saying get disposable clothes?
You know, you can ask
something super cheap, all black, black T-shirt, black pants,
to try to clear, and
black sweatshirt, something like that.
The sheriff's deputies
throw them out.
Take a look.
One use.
Over to your left.
Yes, yes. Pointing out that mass-produced nondescript, because you don't want to be able to allow them to identify you by your outfit. So if you're wearing what is like the Walmart fucking they've got like a brand of sweatshirt or whatever, Armor or something or other, or Under Armour, or yeah, like an Under Armour kind of thing, or blah blah blah. You guys want to see Maynard? I'm petting his head right now. But like if I turn, like here's the thing with him: if I turn around to like grab him, he knows I'm gonna grab him. And he goes running. But like I am petting him right now. He's purring up a storm. There, yeah, there's the sheriff. So they were waiting on the sheriffs to pull up, I guess, in order to push him back. Because we saw the sheriff's deputies pull up in those stupid-looking trucks that Flash once won. Keep repeating, you are free. You live in a free country. This is the freest country. You have freedom of speech. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You live in the greatest country on earth. You are free. You're not propagandized. Corporations don't tell you what to think. Like a clown car, just all of them get in the SUV and drive off. Trail, welcome in. This was earlier. This was about 2 hours ago. We watched live this happen. And now we're watching it from a reporter's perspective from the other side. From behind the cops. While the other reporters are on the other side with the protesters. The Forbes reporters are on the side of the cops. If you take notice, the financial reporters are over on the other side. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. So it seems that things have dissipated so far. We're going to check back in with the live shot after this. It's about 7 o'clock.
They were carrying bats.
7:15 p.m. in LA right now. So it's going to start getting dark over the next hour or so.
They confiscated bats.
The last 3 nights, it has been pretty much... The protests have dissipated and the cops have marched through the streets. I'm sure getting hazard pay and overtime. Yeah, we watched the helicopter point of view of this as it was happening live. It was about 2 hours ago. They're pushing the protesters back. Probably 5:30, 5:15, 5:30 Pacific time. Fuck ice graffitied on that parking garage over there.
Be out of here.
The City Hall parking garage.
I'm sorry about that.
Nothing on fire so far. Nothing. No major violence to report.
There's not that many people
so far. I don't even know that ABC 7 is live anymore. So that's what I'm saying. Like, protest not. Oh. Oh, this is in. This is not LA. This is in Dallas. This is live in Dallas. Protests are popping up all over the country. Well, then go watch Hassan then, Flash. Gosh. Protests also happening in Austin. However, they've kind of dissipated. Well, fine. I'm sorry I'm not his son. Sorry I don't have his pics. So we got two angles of it. Here's the other angle of the march. Maybe a couple hundred people. Oh, shit. Oh, I was the same. This was the march earlier. Yeah, there we go. Maybe a couple hundred people. This was in Austin. Protesters still standing off. I do have the live shot up. Still standing off with law enforcement. Back to LA. This is from the AP. On the street. This is where the protesters are standing off with the line. See, the AP is on the other side because the AP are with the people. So this is what is left of demonstrators in downtown LA. They've been corralled. Back from the federal building. You can see the federal building in the background there. Like, do you go in Hassan's stream and be like, hey, you should be watching JustinFREAKIN? No, you don't, do you? I'm the one that needs the promotion, not Hassan. I do appreciate that. I try to give you cool emotes. I'm gonna tattoo my fucking knuckles with MS-13. What else do you want from me? I mean, that's totally why I made the Molotovs. I was like people will use those in other chats because they're cool. That might be my favorite emote. I usually pop it or high troll when I pop into chats. It's like my first message. I like green hair troll. Like, please go over to Hassan's chat and be like, JustinFREAKIN has a really cool bandana on right now. You guys should see JustinFREAKIN's bandana. He's getting high on stream. Yes, but I'm sure he has plenty of helpful people in chat, like yourself. Like I can go to DJ Dub with a tech problem. That poor white girl. I mean, she's whiter than I am, and that's saying something. Out in the LA sun, Hope she wore some sunscreen. The Bloods and the Grips have apparently put aside their beef for now. We'll join forces to take on the feds. I should have never been a thing. I'm glad that I was on the right side of history. I was on the side that was like, yeah, we probably shouldn't have a Department of Homeland Security. As I was coming into my radicalization as a young, probably 19, 20-year-old when VHS became a thing. I remember even thinking the name sounded Nazi-ish. The cops are moving in. What are they planning? Something could get in. Oh, God. Like, what even was that? For what purpose? They got aggressive all of a sudden for no fucking reason. Let my people go. I totally didn't have the two. Again. It's like they're just itching for it. I can't stop thinking about how the Forbes reporters behind the cops. All the other reporters are in front of the cops.
We're gonna push to Alameda in second.
You think you're a big guy with a big gun? You feel good about yourself pointing munitions at American citizens. Do you see that dude was looking like the white dude right there in the middle? Did you see him flash? I'd love for you to get your calipers around his head. They're just bum rushing him for no reason. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, Joey. It looks like they're loving this. Once again, all the aggression has been from the cops. Libertad. Oh yeah, I'm sure there's some people on the other side that also love fucking with the cops. You have a point, Libertad. But like, these people wouldn't be fucking with the cops if the cops didn't give them a reason. And as I said, they're getting both hazard pay and probably overtime. Maybe some of them it's their normal shifts, but a lot of them are probably getting overtime, where it'll end up being overtime by the end of the week. So like fucking, they get to do what they love. They're getting paid extra for it. Marcus, welcome in. Welcome, Raiders. I am JustinFREAKIN. We find out what that news be doing Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tonight, that news be doing this. We're live looking out in L.A. Protesters facing off with the cops. The cops had pushed the protesters back, probably about 5 blocks from the starting point. The protest was taking place in front of the federal building, where ICE was staging their raids. Cops have probably pushed them about 5 blocks. You can see the federal building right there. It's just off in the distance. It was in the shot momentarily there. That was where the protest originated. They've now pushed them down 4 or 5 blocks probably. No real violence to report. Chad Nader, welcome in. The cops have thrown some flashbangs, pushed some people down, made a few arrests. But all in all, and there's only a few hundred. I would almost guarantee there is far more law enforcement and troops, because there was the National Guard. It was half National Guard, half federal troops stationed in front of the courthouse. Everyone should throw rocks at law enforcement. They deserve it. Fuck the cops.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
If they didn't want rocks thrown at them, they wouldn't have badges on. Oh, Lenny, earlier my power went out. We're under severe storm warnings tonight, but it wasn't storming at the time. It was weird. My power went out last night too. It was storming bad last night. And they didn't want to be pelted with it, and like a reporter pointed it out last night when we were on stream, like they don't have rocks in LA. What these protesters are doing are breaking up pavement, or they carry a cinder block in their backpack and they'll smash the cinder block and then use the pieces to throw at cops, which is fucking based. Allegedly. Like this has been an eye-opening experience for me, because fucking libertarians, go to any libertarian page, go to libertarian Twitter, they're all taking the side of the jackbooted government thugs, because they never had any fucking principles. That's why I call right-wingers morons. Chase Oliver, while being the libertarian candidate, didn't get the vote of most of the libertarians. Stay with us. Well, Chad and Nader, I can't help it, you're stupid. You like a boot down your throat. Suck Trump's cock, my friend. How does the Cheeto taste? Yeah, Chase Oliver is actually somebody I could vote for, but most of the Republican Party, including the chairwoman of the the Libertarian Party, didn't endorse him. What does that mean? Mexican nationalists? Honey, we're looking at a city called Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Where do you think that name came from? Where do you think these people's ancestry comes from? What do you think the state of California was 150 years ago, my friend?
If we need to, I can run back to What the?
Did I get my math wrong? Was it like 200 years ago? I don't know what you mean by so what. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'll never understand right wingers. I like freedom. I like having rights. Hey Maynard, go somewhere. I don't need you here right now. Once again, you're saying Mexican flags. Where do you think the name Los Angeles comes from? No, they're just celebrating their heritage. Think of it like the way Southerners fly the Confederate flag. It's heritage, not hate. Shut the fuck up, idiot. How you like them apples? Like, why do you want to be a bigot, my friend? Like, what? Like, I don't understand the obsession on the right with immigrants. Once again, my interaction with immigrants has been overwhelmingly positive. I don't give a shit like you're low IQ. I'm name calling somebody who's low IQ. Yeah, right. Where's the morons? Answer it. Like what? Like why? Why do you have an obsession with immigrants? Like an immigrant has never done jack shit to me. It has enriched my life, actually. Had multiple immigrants in my family. Every immigrant I've ever met in college, way nicer than most of the Americans I know. Like, why do you guys let right-wing media get you all worked up about fucking bullshit? Huh? What are you bitching about Roman numerals for? I'm asking you a question. Why do you let right-wing media propagandize you? Be upset about, like, fucking nonsense. I bet you hate trans people, too. What does that mean, former lefty? I doubt you even know what leftists believe, my friend. Because, like, there aren't people that are former lefties. There's right-wingers that say that shit, but they never had leftist beliefs to begin with. Same way like Tim Pool was a lefty. Oh, low IQ name calling. Well, why don't you call in and talk to me? Why don't you hop in the Discord? You want to have a conversation? Tell me about all these lefty beliefs you used to have. And tell me, like, why you decided to turn to the right, why you decided to suck Trump's cock. What in the fuck do you get out of it? I would love it. Can you have a discussion? But it's all just going to come down to, like, your feelings and virtues. It is going to be like some lefty made fun of you, and you got your feelings hurt. Buddy, how have I been disrespectful to you? This is fucking called the Troll Patrol. My show is called the fucking Troll Patrol.
Hey, Justin, are you trolling?
How in the fuck? Like, right-wingers are the most sensitive little bitches I've ever met in my life. Do you know, like, I dish it out the way right-wingers do. I call names the way right-wingers do. But I can back it up. I can talk intelligently about fucking issues and policy and shit. You guys get so upset. Come on, man, please. I would love to have a conversation with you. Prove me wrong. Are you intelligent enough? You were never a lefty. You can't come on here and talk to me about any kind of lefty issues. You never had any kind of lefty belief. You were a lefty the same way you had a girlfriend that lived in Canada or some shit. Oh, I actually don't have the phones open. We should do that, just in case. You guys didn't ban him, though, did you? Thank you, Holiday. Just making sure. It's like when I debated that one dude. He lived in Maryland, told me like immigration was his #1 issue. Like, how the fuck? What? How is immigration your #1 issue? I can somewhat see it if you live down in Texas or something. Still, fucking people in Texas are more likely to be people in Texas that aren't white, or like white boomers that live on the border, are likely to be very open to a loose immigration policy, because like they have family that lives on both sides of the border. It's insane. I really wanted to get an answer, but like, God, they're so sensitive. Getting our dance on.
Mary.
I bet they got some awesome tamales somewhere around there. Somebody's got like a backpack full of them. Yeah, man, I was stunned by that. I was stunned by a lot. I think Sam was stunned by a lot of the people on that debate. I tried watching the Jordan Peterson one and I couldn't do it. I'm like, ugh. I watched a video of someone talking about the Jordan Peterson debate, or the Jordan Peterson Jubilee. A fucking party broke out. We were facing off with the cops a few minutes ago, now a party broke out. Love it. Sports Cards, welcome in. We've still got a couple other stories I'd like to talk about. The flotilla, the Colombian president that got shot in the head. But I kind of want to watch him dance. You are on native land. The other sign says illegals are not criminals. Now that will trigger some people, but she's actually correct, or they are actually correct with the message on the sign. Being undocumented in this country is just a civil offense. It's like jaywalking. Like a speeding ticket. Also, do you see what I see?
Come on, now.
Come on! Eso!
I don't think I was talking about the Latina. She may be Latino. I guess my verbs and nouns didn't match or whatever. I was always bad at Spanish. But I mean, also now that I look at her, once again, we are live in LA. Police have apparently backed off for now, and we have a little party going on. Oh, Splash. Last night I mentioned like it would be a good time for Tom Morello to like do a Rage Against the Machine concert, participate in this protest. Glad to report that he indeed was out participating in the protest. Are you talking about the Irish band? The ones that got in trouble? But I think that was for like calling to have an MP killed or some shit. You might be talking about something completely different. Did they do all the small things? Yeah, that sounds like fun. That's like Chappelle was doing that. He was doing like pop-up shows in barns and shit. So, a very jubilant atmosphere on the one side. We come back over here to the fascists. There you can see the federal building. About 4 or 5 blocks, they probably pushed the protesters back from the federal building where ICE is staged. I believe that might also be the city hall complex and shit, where they've got their jail where they're holding detainees that they picked up. Were they the ones that did all the small things? Was that them? You never answered that. It's gonna drive me nuts if I don't get the answer to it. No. What was their big hit? But they sounded like that, right? That was Blink-182. But what was All American Reject's big hit? Can you hum a few bars for me? Because I have no idea. I'll keep you my dirty little secret. That one? I remember that one. That song sucked. No wonder America rejected them. They were all Americans and getting rejected. So I guess now would be a good time to cut away, do the other news stories that I've got for tonight. Yeah, we gotta do these. Hold on, let's. I don't often get to talk about Djibouti. But if you're going to show me your Djibouti, you should totally wash your ass.
Life is too short to walk this earth.
What a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
Deportees are being held in a converted shipping container in Djibouti, according to ICE. It was a couple of days ago. I don't know what the update is. A group of deported migrants living in a converted shipping container at a U.S. military base in Djibouti, a country in East Africa, where they are guarded around the clock by a small team of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers. This is according to a court filing from last Thursday. Several migrants have been stuck at the base for more than 2 weeks after the airplane they were on, which was originally bound for South Sudan, was rerouted mid-trip due to a federal judge's ruling. The court ruling came after multiple people facing deportation fought the Trump administration's effort to send them to South Sudan. Now their case has reached the Supreme Court, which could issue a ruling at any time. It's the latest example of migrants being caught in the legal crosshairs between Trump's efforts to streamline deportations and the court's push for due process. Since the flights landed in Djibouti, ICE officers have been left with limited resources, and the migrants have been held with very limited communication with their families and no communication with their lawyers, according to court filings. On Wednesday, lawyers for the migrants said some of the detainees were able to make contact with family members for the first time since being put on the flight on May 20th. ICE did not immediately respond to a request for comment on why the officers and migrants were still in Djibouti. The nurses will tell you a lot of people come into the hospital with some weird things in their Djibouti, but I don't think they've ever seen a bunch of migrants and ICE agents in Djibouti. I'm sorry. I'm just tortured. Oh, do you want to know what else is in this? This one's good. U.S. immigration agents mistakenly detained a deputy marshal in Arizona. Deputy marshal fit the general description of the subject being sought, I guess brown, and was briefly detained by the Marshal Service. I'm sorry, was briefly detained, the Marshal Service said. Not by the Marshal Service, he was a marshal. A U.S. Marshal was detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Arizona after being mistakenly identified as a man agents were looking for. The deputy marshal matched the general description of the subject being sought by ICE. He was detained at a federal building in the Old Pueblo in Tucson. Officials said the detention was brief and the deputy marshal was released after his identity was quickly confirmed. The Marshal Service did not say when the incident happened or who the deputy marshal was. The deputy U.S. Marshal's identity was quickly confirmed by other law enforcement officers. He exited the building without incident, according to NBC News. ICE agents are under pressure from the White House to increase arrests. On Tuesday, agents detained more than 2,200 people, the highest number of immigrant arrests in a single day in its history, according to reports. That would have been last Tuesday. This past Tuesday. Today's Monday. They are sweeping up. They are sweeping up other law enforcement agents in their raids. They're also terrorizing kids. This is insanity. Terrorizing kids in an elementary school.
Immigration officials say a fourth grader at Torrance Elementary School will be deported with his father. 9-year-old Martir Garcia Lara attended an immigration hearing in downtown Los Angeles with his father on May 29th. Instead of receiving an update on their immigration status, the boy and his father were both detained and separated. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, confirmed yesterday both will be sent back to Honduras. Officials say the boy and his father illegally entered the U.S. in 2021 and were ordered to be deported the following year. The family appealed that decision, but it was dismissed. ICE says the father and son stayed in the U.S. after that, despite orders to be deported. They are now at an immigration facility in Texas. It's unclear when the deportation will take place.
But would somebody think of the families that are being harmed? Somebody think of the families that are being harmed in all of this. The families of the ICE agents.
If you abolish ICE, AOC said over and over, as did many Democrats. Then they got rid of that talking point. Then we were told during the Biden administration move over to Border Patrol, they were whipping migrants at the border on horseback, whipping them. That turned out to be a total hoax, total scam, never happened, but Border Patrol was demonized. Then they get doxxed by LA activist groups. Literally their pictures, their phone numbers, and the words underneath their pictures. These people are racially terrorizing and criminalizing entire communities with their policy, kidnapping people.
Well, chat, it is another edition of Would You on the Origin Couch. You have to fuck everybody. You can't leave anybody out. Is that Riley Gaines on the end? I don't know. I don't think so. Looks a little older to be Riley Gaines. I think I'm passing on this one. I'm pretty depraved, but I'm passing.
Underneath their pictures, these people are racially terrorizing and criminalizing entire communities with their policy, kidnapping people. Imagine if you're a child of that ICE agent and your dad's picture is there along with his phone number saying he's kidnapping people.
Think of the ICE agents. Yeah. I'm depraved, but even Kayleigh McEnany can't be my GOP mommy. I draw the line somewhere. So you guys found where I draw the line. I hope you're happy. Do you remember the guy that interviewed Trump? And Trump was like, I didn't even know who you are. That's why I picked you. And he asked him about the Photoshop of the Abrego Garcia knuckles, right? He's been suspended by ABC News. Terry Morgan suspended at ABC after posting that White House Deputy Chief Stephen Miller is a world-class hater. ABC News suspended its senior national correspondent Terry Moran after he called White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller a world-class hater. ABC News stands for objectivity and impartiality in its news coverage and does not condone subjective personal attacks on others. The Post does not reflect the views of ABC News and violated our standards. As a result, Terry Moran has been suspended pending further evaluation. Moran's post went out just after midnight on Sunday. In it, he wrote that Miller is one of the people who conceptualizes the impulses of the Trumpiest movement and translates them into policy and operates not on brains but on bile. Miller is a man who is richly endowed with the capacity for hatred. He's a world-class hater. You can see this just by looking at him because you can see that his hatreds are his spiritual nourishment. He eats his hate. I guess Moran felt like he was being objective by saying hater instead of Nazi. And he's like, I should have used far worse language. The Post, in which a veteran anger veered into opinion rather than reportage or analysis or facts, it still seems as a breach of standards by many news organizations, despite the proliferation of opinion-led programs on cable networks such as MSNBC or Fox News Channel. Moran has been called in the past to report on politics and secured a coveted interview with President Donald Trump in April that won plaudits. Its commentary on Miller could be seen as undermining ABC News' objectivity in coverage of White House matters. He's only suspended, so hopefully they did it with pay. If cops can kill somebody and get suspended with pay, Terry Moran can get suspended with pay. Do you remember maybe 2 years ago, possibly, Joe Biden was walking up the stairs of, it might have been 3 years ago, to be honest with you. I want to say I was still in Alabama. Joe Biden was walking up the stairs of Air Force One.
Come on, man.
And stumbled up the stairs. Right-wing media went nuts about it, played it nonstop on a loop. Have you guys seen this yet? Is right-wing media playing that on a loop? He did a good job catching himself. Also, funny you mentioned piss bag flash. I want to show you guys a picture, and there is speculation online about what is going on in this picture. Is that a banana in your pants, or are you just happy to see me, sir? Apparently, medical professionals have said that that is a catheter. That is certainly not his dick. Yeah, Stormy said it looked like Toad. This is itty bitty. So that's probably a catheter. So speculation. Also, why is she so excited? I don't remember what this is because it's from last night that we didn't get to. Oh, okay. Trump says he has no desire to reconcile with Elon.
Good Sunday morning. Elon Musk's criticism of President
How old's Barron, Lenny?
Bill erupted into a bitter public fight this week, with Musk going so far as to agree with a call for President Trump's impeachment. Musk blasted the Republican spending bill as a, quote, disgusting abomination and urged GOP lawmakers to kill it.
I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here.
In a phone call on Saturday, President Trump told me that he has no desire to repair his ties with Musk, and asked if his relationship with Musk is over. He told me, quote, I would assume so. As Republicans race to pass the president's signature piece of legislation, the breakup between two of the world's most powerful men is highlighting divisions on Capitol Hill. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office analysis found the bill would add $2.4 trillion to the debt over the next decade. Fiscal hawks in the Senate worry about voting for a bill that will add more to the deficit.
I can't, in good conscience, give up every principle that I stand for and every principle that I was elected upon, and that's that
We can't accumulate more debt.
Failure is not an option. We will get this done one way or the other. And
you don't have fucking principles, Rand Paul.
President Trump telling me he remains very confident that he can still get the bill passed before July 4th, and claimed the Republican Party is more unified now because of how Musk treated him. When I asked President Trump if he thinks Musk could sink the bill, he told me, I don't think he has the power to do it. Musk spent more than $250 million helping Trump return to the White House.
Is it just me, or is Kirsten Welker helping Trump get petty?
Fund Democrats in the future. President Trump told me if he does, he'll have to pay the consequences. Meanwhile, on Friday, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who the Trump administration mistakenly deported to El Salvador, was flown back to the United States to face charges of human smuggling.
Abrego Garcia has landed in the United States to face justice.
In April, the Supreme Court ordered the Trump administration to facilitate his return. President Trump telling me he did not call the president of El Salvador to directly ask for Abrego Garcia's return. Asked if he brought him back to the U.S. because of the court's order, Mr. Trump said it wasn't his decision. It was handled by the Justice Department, and believes, quote, it should be a very easy case. Over the weekend, chaotic scenes played out.
Oh, yeah, it should be a very easy case, shouldn't it? That is not what Abrego Garcia's lawyer is going to say.
The United States Supreme Court ordered the government to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, to facilitate his release from custody in El Salvador, and to ensure that his case is handled as it would have been had he not been improperly sent to El Salvador. Those are the words of the U.S. Supreme Court. I think we can all agree that that is not what happened today. What happened today is not the manner in which this would have been handled had Mr. Abrego Garcia never been improperly sent to El Salvador. What happened today is an abuse of power. What happened today is the exact opposite of due process, because due process...
Pam Bondi didn't do herself any favors going out there and saying all those things definitively about a man who has never been convicted, and totally could be seen as tainting the jury pool, biasing the case. Probably really easy for a good lawyer to get this thrown out.
Means the opportunity to defend yourself before you're punished, not afterwards. I think what this really goes to show is that this administration, instead of simply admitting a mistake and apologizing, this matter could have gone away within a week or two after the case being filed. Instead of simply admitting their mistake, they'll stop at nothing at all, even some of the most preposterous charges imaginable, just to avoid admitting that they made a mistake, which is what everyone knows happened in this case.
And his lawyers have stated, I think yesterday, Smokey, prosecutors seek pretrial detention hearing for Abrego Garcia following his return. The file comes 3 days after he was returned to the U.S. to face charges. Prosecutors in Tennessee on Monday asked a magistrate judge for a pretrial detention hearing in the human smuggling case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Prosecutors contend the government is entitled to a pretrial detention hearing because the charged conspiracy allegedly involved the transportation of undocumented, unaccompanied children. The filing comes after Magistrate Judge Barbara Holmes on Friday told prosecutors at Abrego Garcia's initial court appearance that the crimes alleged in the indictment did not presumptively entitle the government to a detention hearing, and asked for supplemental briefing. Abrego Garcia was brought back to the U.S. from his native El Salvador to face criminal charges in Tennessee following a series of court battles. A 2-count indictment unsealed on Friday alleges that Abrego Garcia participated in a years-long conspiracy to haul undocumented migrants from Texas to the interior of the country, involving a domestic transport of thousands of non-citizens. Thousands? From Mexico and Central America. It's laughable. Including some children in exchange for thousands of dollars. Prosecutors contend in Monday's filing that the alleged presence of minors on at least some of the trips entitles the government to a detention hearing. If the hearing is granted, the government says a special agent with Homeland Security investigations will testify that he learned during the course of the investigation that the defendant and other members of the conspiracy transported minors in an unsafe manner. According to the filing, the agent would testify that one of Abrego Garcia's alleged co-conspirators told investigators, it's that shit again. And so he heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who would sometimes travel with young children and or family members as cover for his illegal trafficking, and that the children were often seated on the vehicle's floorboard so that the alien transportees who had paid other co-conspirators for the travel could have seats. This would allow more paying aliens to be transported and increase the financial gain of the conspiracy, the filing states. This stinks to high heaven. I don't believe it for a second. We're out here harassing innocent people. Meanwhile, we got Nazis running around. 2 men arrested with an arsenal and Nazi paraphernalia after base robbery, and they were ex-military. Levi Austin Frakes and Charles Ethan Fields arrested on Monday night at their home in Lacey, Washington. I believe this was a week ago. This is an older story. Two men arrested in Washington State with an arsenal that included dozens of guns, explosives, and body armor, along with Nazi paraphernalia, were former military members who attacked a soldier with a hammer while stealing gear from Joint Base Lewis McChord last weekend. Levi Austin Frakes and Charles Ethan Fields arrested Monday night at their home in Lacey near Olympia. One of the defendants told investigators the pair had been stealing equipment from the base for the past 2 years to sell or trade. They found about $24,000 in cash at the home. Washington State business license records show that Frakes and Field had a company called Sovereign Solutions, which featured an SS logo. The letters were separated by a lightning bolt. Its website advertises quality training and equipment for the modern warfighter, including marksmanship classes, as well as a t-shirt the company logo and the words "Professional War Crime Committer." The federal complaint charges them with robbery, assault, theft of government property. They also face investigation on state charges of unlawful possession of incendiary devices, short-barreled rifles, and a machine gun. Each was being held at the Thurston County Jail on a $500,000 bond. We'll look at the rifles found in their home. Agents found rifles staged at the upstairs windows. A probable cause affidavit filed in Thurston County Superior Court said the federal complaint said agents observed numerous Nazi white supremacist memorabilia, murals, and literature in every bedroom and near several stockpiles of weapons and military equipment. Photos from inside the home included in court documents showed a wall decorated with a red Nazi flag emblazoned with a black swastika and a black SS flag. According to the complaint, a soldier entered a building at the Army Ranger compound at Joint Base Lewis McChord on Sunday night and found 2 men, partially masked, with a cluster of U.S. Army property around them. The soldier questioned them about what they were doing and told them to pull down their masks, which they did. A fight ensued, and one of the men brandished a hammer and struck the soldier in the head. The soldier continued to fight despite losing a large amount of blood, managed to get control of the hammer, at which point one of the men pulled a knife. The soldier then let them go. They had attempted to steal about $14,000 worth of body armor, ballistic helmets, and communications equipment on Sunday, most of which they left behind when they dropped their rucksacks as they fled. During the fight, one of the men dropped his hat. It said Fields on the inside. Using base entry logs and surveillance video, investigators determined that Fields and Frakes had entered Lewis McChord together about an hour before the attack. Yeah, Trump will probably pardon him. He's going to pardon Diddy. Let's go back to the protest here. Oh, God. Oh, God. What's going on? We have people scattering. May not have been a big deal. May have just been the police pushing him back again. Dude with the bag up there taunting the police. That takes some balls. Mad props.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
Hey everybody, Julie's back. Let's light one up. It's been a celebration. Actually, they were listening to music and dancing. But now we're back to the police being kind of aggressive. Crowd's still dissipating. There's not... Look at it. There's more law enforcement than there are protesters. I mean, like, that's not even in dispute. Look at it! There's twice as many law enforcement as there are protesters. Smokey, go somewhere, bubs. And backed up by how many goddamn police cars? There's 30 or 40 of them. They could be doing a fucking police chase right now. They're harassing protesters. Yeah, they pushed them back about 4 or 5 blocks, maybe 5 or 6 blocks. Think about Justin's content. There are people getting away with petty crime right now that you're not chasing and putting pedestrians and innocent drivers in danger with. It's sad. Are they dragging somebody? Maybe that was just a flag. I don't even understand, like, what are the cops doing? It is a fucking public street. You're not allowed to just be on public streets, goddammit? We'll check back in. There's a couple more stories I want to cover. A senator in Colombia, man running for president. Oh, no socks. Whew. Had to stop him from throwing up on me. He'll do that sometime. Want to throw up like just the worst spot. Like, no. Go get in the floor. It's a hardwood floor. A senator in Colombia who's running for president shot in the head fighting for his life.
Presidential candidate has been attacked and seriously wounded in the capital, Bogota. Conservative Miguel Uribe Turbay was shot in the head and leg during a campaign rally. He's critically ill in hospital.
A brutal attack on a Colombian presidential hopeful. Miguel Uribe was taken to the hospital in a critical condition after being shot 3 times, reportedly twice in the head during a campaign event in Bogota.
It is great news what the clinic has told us, that he overcame the first intervention. These are critical moments and hours for him to survive. We must ask God to preserve Miguel's life and help him overcome this situation.
Following the initial investigations, police reported that a minor was arrested at the crime scene with a firearm. The total number of suspected attackers is unclear.
A minor or a minor? E-R or O-R?
During the police response, a bodyguard intervened and held one of the attackers, who is a minor. He was injured in the leg and taken to the hospital.
Coal miner?
He's receiving medical treatment.
Under the age of 18.
Colombian President Gustavo Petro condemned the attack and vowed to hunt down those responsible, suggesting other criminals may have been involved.
We want, above all, to guarantee the state's absolute transparency in its jurisdiction, to investigate and
Flash, more than likely it's a fascist going after a leftist.
Attempted murder.
39-year-old Uribe from the center-right party Democratic Center is planning to join next year's presidential race. After this attack, many Colombians are concerned about a resurgence of the country's past violence.
People are worried. They're going out and see everything that is happening.
Senate near conservative presidential candidate.
Very sad, very painful event that these things continue to happen in this country.
I was
We thought it
multitasking.
was something from the past, but it happened right here next to us. People who wanted to listen to his speech, and well, it is very regrettable.
Miguel Uribe comes from a prominent Colombian political family. He is the grandson of former President Julio Cesar Turbay Ayala. He entered the Senate in 2022 after a career in local politics in Bogota.
For more, let's now cross over to journalist Richard McCall, who joins us from
What up, Dick?
Richard, it's likely still too early to talk motive here, but what are Colombian officials saying about who's behind this attack and why, at least potentially?
Thank you. No, there's no real knowledge about the motives behind the attack. Of course, we're into the last year of President Gustavo Petro's mandate here. And so whilst election campaigning period has not really kicked off, all of these people, such as Miguel Uribe Turbay, have started to go out on the campaign trail a little bit to try and get the nomination of their party for the presidential hopeful. So,
Julie, thank you for throwing out the gift sub.
We don't know why.
It's ironic, you got you some emote.
Was a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old. Differing reports are out there. But if he was contracted by someone else, he's unlikely to know for whom he worked. He is the bottom of the pyramid. So we do not know any of the motives, and we do not know much about the shooter himself either.
The speculation begins. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio condemned the shooting as a direct threat to democracy and said, without providing any evidence, that the attack happened due to, quote, violent leftist rhetoric coming from the highest levels of the Colombian government.
They said center right.
Thinking of that, either in the streets or in the halls of power.
Well, yes, this has been an opportunity for the opposition, that's the right, the opposition to the left-wing president, to start saying that the president himself has been provoking reactions, polarizing with his use of social media. We have to put this into context of what's going on at the moment. President Gustavo Petro, the first leftist president in Colombia, is trying to push through a popular referendum. And of course, the right wing, to which Miguel Uribe Turbay belongs, is very much against this, saying that it's a destruction of democracy. It's against the democratic practices within Colombia. And so this is the back and forth that's taking place right now between the
popular referendum.
Richard, what's Uribe's
against democracy
at the moment?
Miguel Uribe was taken first to a clinic near to where the assassination attempt took place, and then was moved to the Santa Fe, the Clínica Fundación Santa Fe, a high-level, very good hospital in the north of Bogota. It's believed he was hit with 3 bullets, 2 of them entering his head, another into his leg. We know he was in a very critical condition. There were neurologists and neurophysicians on site, but apparently he's come through the first set of surgery okay, but he remains in a critical condition.
A violent act this brazen, this public, I imagine, gets people talking about the state of democracy in their country, asking themselves if it's safe for political candidates to campaign. What's the climate there at the moment?
Well, Colombia is a notoriously violent country, but not since 1990 has a presidential aspiration, has a potential presidential candidate actually been assassinated. But in local elections and national elections, there is a great deal of violence always. Even back in 2023, for the local elections, there were around 18 local political community leaders assassinated. So it's not something new, but it has been more than 30 years since a presidential hopeful has
Oh, Julie, thank you.
And yes, it causes great debate and
thank you for throwing out the gift sub. Avalon, go drop you some Molotovs and other chats.
Increase security for campaigning political figures.
Bears repeating, the suspect here seems to be a teenager, 14 or 15 years old. That's
14 or 15 years old, already an assassin. Apparently not a good one, though. He didn't succeed. You gotta get good, kid. And you get the big bucks. Ah, Julie, you are awesome.
People,
back to this is live. Karen Bass, the mayor of LA. You see a live shot. Protesters.
I think a lot of people.
We've got a couple down.
And I'm sure
cops surrounding them.
Speaking up for them. I'm wondering.
This is the area where the
they got a chance to be lawyers.
horses trampled a guy yesterday.
The fact that they're being detained potentially against their violating their civil rights. Is there anything that you can talk about providing legal representation? For example, the city of LA.
I know it says previously recorded down in the bottom right-hand corner.
For immigrants, and so and that felt like an uphill battle.
Yeah, they push away. Yeah, this is old. God damn it. Let's go back to the live shot. Is the AP the only shot we've got? I thought Bass was speaking again. This is back to the live shot with the AP. Let's see if K-Cal is live.
Get towed out from another freeway.
And was that a Molotov cocktail, Mike? How did that liquid ignite? It's wild.
Yeah, so they used kindling. So they were able to get some straws or not straw, but things on the ground.
Paper.
Whatever. They were using cardboard. They were also using some, not hay, but something to that similar effect. They would bunch it together, light it, and then toss it down there. And then once it was down there, then they poured the liquid on top of it. And that's what you really got the fire going.
What are they talking about?
He was able to put it out.
And luckily, a child wasn't hit or anybody else for that matter, right?
Right,
Yeah.
and especially of that driver, that minivan driver. There was a guy.
Yeah, because there's so much straw and hay.
The minivan driver at one point, which I just
in downtown Los
told
Angeles.
me about it, so I got to call him back. But was driving through Union Station, got so close to a bicyclist, the bicyclist got scared and fell off his bike.
Oh, gosh. All right, Mike, thank you so much. Our breaking news coverage continues here with this. Hundreds more military troops are being deployed to Los Angeles tonight. Mike's been telling us that at the direction of the president.
Oh, this as the state is filing a lawsuit to get them out.
For what reason?
Now with all the details. Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
Yeah, Susie, Juan, both the governor and the Pentagon confirming tonight that an additional 2,000 National Guard troops will be deployed here to Los Angeles, as you said, at the direction of the president. Shortly before that announcement came down, well, the White House confirmed that 700 Marines from 29 Palms would be landing in Los Angeles in the next 24 hours. So this now makes a total of 4,000 National Guardsmen, including
for absolutely no reason.
On top of the Guardsmen there. The governor claims most troops are sitting unused right now in federal buildings and called the move reckless and pointless. Now, CA Attorney Rob Bonta confirmed the troops are activated for 60 days, and right now state officials don't know when they will stand down. Now, the National Guard and the Marines' mission is solely to help protect federal personnel and federal property. In the meantime, Governor Gavin Newsom is now suing the Trump administration for deploying the National Guard without his consent. The judge is asking, or the state, I should say, is asking a judge to declare it unconstitutional and for the court to halt any.
Look at all those guardsmen being all bored.
And the president today.
An order that abused the federal government's authority and violated the 10th Amendment and federal law. An order that skipped over multiple rational, common sense.
I mean, yeah, they're trained for like general purpose
and
crowd control.
Escalation. As a result, I, in partnership with Governor Gavin Newsom, are suing President Trump.
It ain't rocket surgery.
Look at the job he's doing in California. He's destroying one of our great states. And if I didn't get involved, if we didn't bring the Guard in, and we would bring more in if we needed it, because we have to.
You didn't need what's already there.
And President Trump went on to say today that had he not sent in the Guard, LA would have been, quote, completely obliterated. Again, the National
absolute nonsense. And there are so many people on Facebook that are repeating that shit.
Protect that property. Many of the clashes happening on city streets that we are seeing are with local law enforcement and protesters. To help out local law enforcement, with the governor announcing today that he is adding an additional 800 state and local law enforcement to help out here in Los Angeles. Susie?
All right, Leslie, thank you so much. Family members of people taken into custody during Friday's raids on businesses in the Fashion District want to know what's happened to their loved ones. As some of them spoke out this morning in downtown LA.
The group raised signs with pictures of their loved ones. They say ICE agents took dozens of indigenous immigrant workers into custody, and since then they've struggled to find and make contact with.
Insane.
Ambiance is the company that employs these workers who make clothing.
Yeah, we keep hearing about people not getting access to their family, to legal representation. Insanity. One more here real fast. I want to highlight the Freedom Flotilla. It was being confronted by Israel as we were coming on last night. Let's go to Amy Goodman with Democracy Now!
On a free press. Please support our independent journalism at democracynow.org/give. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Human rights groups.
Oh yeah, we wanted to smoke, didn't we, Julie?
Attack on the Freedom Flotilla ship called the Madeleine. They're saying it's a war crime. The ship was sailing to Gaza with vital humanitarian aid for Palestinians who are being starved by Israel's strict blockade since early March, with 11 activists and one journalist on board. Israeli soldiers in the early hours of Monday, they have not the activists been heard of or located since. Those detained include the renowned Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg, Thiago Avila, who we just heard from Brazil, Yasmin Achar from Germany. She was scheduled to join us on today's broadcast before she and the rest of the group were forcibly taken by the Israeli Navy. Israeli forces intercepted the flotilla on international waters at approximately 3 this morning, some 110 nautical miles from Gaza. This is Brazilian activist Thiago Avila describing the moments before Israeli forces boarded the ship.
Everyone, we are under attack. Please sound the alarm. They're throwing a lot of substances and objects on us. Quadcopters, the most dangerous ones. Right now, they're jamming our comms. They are saying random stuff just to jam our communication. They are doing this so that we cannot get help.
And this is an Israeli soldier ordering the ship to stop sailing toward Gaza.
The maritime zone of the coast of Gaza is closed to naval traffic as part of a legal naval blockade. If you wish to deliver humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip, you are able to do so through the port of Ashdod via the established channels and distribution centers.
Israeli quadcopters intercepted and attacked the group of activists, spraying a white chemical-like substance on the ship, the activists said, which hurt their eyes. Signals were jammed. Disturbing audio was broadcast to interfere with communication over the radio system. Israeli soldiers on speedboats then boarded the Madeleine. Israeli soldiers are also heard on video footage demanding the crew throw their mobile phones into the sea. The unarmed activists were then detained by Israeli forces. The Madeleine, the ship, seized. The ship's humanitarian aid, including baby formula, food, medical supplies, have been confiscated. The group of activists who'd been at sea for over a week since departing from Sicily on June 1st shared these pre-recorded messages after Israel's attack.
My name is Baptiste André from France. If you are seeing this video, we have been intercepted at sea and I've been kidnapped by the Israeli occupation forces of country complicit in the Israel genocide of Palestinians. I appeal to my own comrades, friends, family to put pressure on the French government to demand my release as soon as possible.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel. I urge all my friends, family and comrades to put pressure on the Swedish government to release me and the others as soon as possible.
My name is Mark Rennes, and I come from the Netherlands. If you see this video, we have been abducted in international waters by the Israeli occupation army, or by an army helping Israel commit genocide against the Palestinian people.
With the United States?
The Dutch government to push for my release, and that of all other peaceful activists.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Pascal Morieras.
Hello, my name is Pascal Raymond Morieras. I'm French. If you are seeing this video, it means we have been intercepted by the Israeli army or one of their complicit allies.
Ou par une armée complice du génocide actuellement perpétré
of the ongoing genocide in Gaza.
Aussi, je demande à tous mes camarades, à ma famille.
I'm requesting my comrades, family, and friends ensure that the French government intervenes with the Israeli authorities,
des autorités israéliennes,
demanding my release from prison as soon as possible.
So my name is Reva Sefervia. I'm from France. If you see this video, it means that we got intercepted by the Israeli forces or complicits, and we may be in a very bad situation now. So I do ask our comrades, to our family, friends, to please share this video and put pressure on the French government so that we could be, with my friends, released, and also, of course, that this genocide ends.
Hi everyone, my name is Rima Hassan. I'm French-Palestinian, aboard the humanitarian vessel going to Gaza. If you're seeing this video now, it's because we've been stopped by the Israeli army or their complicit allies. We count on your mobilization to put pressure on the French government to demand our release.
Okay, my name is Sergio Toribio from Spain. If you are seeing this video, we have been intercepted at sea and I have been kidnapped by Israeli occupation forces or force of a country complete in Israel genocide of Palestinians. I appeal to all my comrades, friends, family to put pressure on the Spain government to demand my release as soon as possible.
My name is Hüseyin Şuayb Ordu from Turkey. If you are seeing this video, it means that we have been intercepted at sea and I have been kidnapped by IOF. I appeal to all my comrades, friends, family to put pressure on the Turkish government. Government to demand my release as soon as possible.
Hi everyone, I'm Thiago Avila. I'm a Brazilian citizen, member of the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, and if you're watching this video, it means that I've been detained or kidnapped by Israel or another complicit force around the Mediterranean on our way to Gaza to break the siege. And in this case, I urge you to pressure my government and my comrades' governments for us to be released out of prison and to break relations with Israel, to end the genocide and end the siege that it's...
Well, unfortunately, my government just really likes Israel for some reason.
My name is Yasin Najat, and I'm from Germany.
Or other, I'm trying to, but they ain't listening.
Intercepted at sea and kidnapped by the Israeli occupation forces or by one of its allies, complicit and actively participating in the genocide of Palestinians. I appeal to my comrades, friends, and family to put pressure on the German government and to ask
Hi, Maynard.
As soon as possible.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Yanis Mamdi.
Hello, my name is Yanis Hamdi, a journalist from Blast Media. And if you're seeing this video, I've been detained by the Israeli forces while performing my role as a journalist. I therefore ask my colleagues and the French government to expedite my release and to return my camera equipment.
The journalists and activists are being transported to Israel's port city of Ashdod, where it's believed they'll be taken to an Israeli prison. Al Jazeera is reporting Israel's far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has instructed prison authorities to prepare separate cells for the activists from the Madlin ship at Givon prison in Ramla, where they will be held before being deported, unquote. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition.
I think he said Blast Media.
From Malta last month, but the group's ship was damaged in a drone strike that left 4 volunteers injured. For more, we go to Ann Wright for an update, senior member of the Gaza Flotilla Steering Committee in close contact with the Madlin. She herself was part of 4 Gaza Freedom Flotillas, twice imprisoned by the Israeli military. She's a 29-year U.S. Army Reserves veteran who retired as a colonel, is a former U.S. diplomat who resigned in March 2003 in opposition to the war in Iraq. And thanks so much for being with us. We only have 2 minutes.
What she's saying is this woman is a badass.
Those videos, they said, if you're seeing this video, we have been taken.
Well, thank you so much, and for playing all of those videos of the brave, courageous 12 that were on that ship. They were taken from the Madeleine, put on a Navy ship within 30 minutes after the Israeli Navy stopping them. They're still on that ship, as far as we know. They should be arriving probably within the hour into the port of Ashdod.
This was earlier today.
From the immigration authority there that they may be deported immediately rather than going into the prison. That's something our lawyers, Adala, who are Palestinian lawyers that are in Palestine 48, that are confirming with us. So it may be that some of them don't go to Givon prison. We thank everyone for their support. There are other things that are happening in the region, the global march to Cairo, the Tunis Samud march. There are so many things people can do to keep Gaza and the West Bank in their mind. You can have your own Gaza Freedom Flotilla in any water that's close to your house and put a little Palestinian flag on a boat in a mud puddle even. It's solidarity that we need right now for the people of Gaza, and we will be sending more boats in the Gaza Freedom Flotilla, and very, very soon. So thank you all for the support, and let's make sure this genocide and ethnic cleansing that the Israelis are doing in Gaza and the West Bank ends now. Pressure on our governments, whether they be the U.S., French, German, Sweden, Brazil, Turkey, Spain, the Netherlands that were on that boat, and we will have a U.S. citizen on this next boat.
And we just have a few seconds, but the Turkish government,
Juan Gonzalez,
Foreign Ministry declared
he just popped up out of nowhere
and demanded the freedom of its 2 nationals that were on this boat. What about other governments?
Well, the other governments have been silent so far, but that's where citizen pressure comes in. So call the foreign ministries of all of.
I love this woman, Anne Wright.
Don't forget the old United States of America, the most complicit country in the genocide of Gaza. So it's up to us as citizens to keep the pressure on. We've got citizens that are out in front of the United Nations every day on the hunger strike, and they're going to be going to the national missions of each of those countries that have citizens on the Madeleine.
Democracy Now! Is funded by viewers like you.
Yes, thank you for Democracy Now! A worthy cause. Let's go back to the AP live shot of the standoff now with police in LA. Protesters sitting down. They've made... I mean, how much further can the cops push them back? Woo! Hell yeah, Julie. Don't add another gift sub. Hold on, let me go take a pee-pee. I don't have a Dan Crenshaw eye pussy in front of me. We're gonna come back, we're gonna get more high. The fuck, a prison bus just pull up? Yes? Who are they putting on a prison bus? I guess they have arrested a few people. We've seen handful, dozen arrests. Oh, hold on. I might need to sneeze again. Silent, I'll tell you good evening. All right, now we can light one up. Light one up, tip one back. Pretty much everything has died down. The protesters have not been violent in any way. All the aggressions come from the cops yet again. I stand by my statement. There were more law enforcement there the entire time But by, 2 hours ago, for sure, there was more cops than there were protesters. By the time it got dark, there is like no way that the cops did not outnumber the protesters. Oh, didn't we see her dancing earlier? I don't know who she was with. I don't think it was K-Cal. K-Cal isn't live right now. I mean, they're live, but they're not showing live pictures. They're showing what happened earlier. We can go to them. They've got reporters up now. Logie Bubby.
LA, Lori. Yes, we're on the beginnings of the Arts District, and here things have really started to wrap up. You can see they have people lined up along the wall. They have them with those plastic ties on. They are taking people into custody. You know, there were only so many times that police were going to tell people that they had to disperse.
Do this press.
Or get arrested. And when they didn't disperse, this is what happened. So now we've been watching as they've been taking people's information and then walking them over to that big white.
Ma'am, you just saw one of your colleagues.
About an hour ago. It's now parked across the street. After they get some information and register these people, they're walking them across the street and putting them into those buses. You know,
why are you not outraged that one of your colleagues was apprehended?
Really started to thin out until it was maybe just, a couple dozen people, maybe 30, 40 people here at this intersection, and they really corralled them. They had them surrounded, and they continually were telling them, you have to get out of here, you have to go home, and some people just persisted, and so it turned into what it is now, which is where they're being taken into custody. So it should be a wrap from where we are in terms of the protest, because once they get this small number of people situated, then they should disperse. The law enforcement that's here should continue on their way. But we are hearing of pockets throughout the city.
Go, Bubby. You're not gonna let me. So, oh my God!
Looking for that.
You can't claw my crotch again. That was not good.
In order to see what is continuing to happen here on the streets of LA, but you can see even here, 1, 2,
lay down and be
3,
peaceful.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 people lined up as I speak. I've already seen probably 10 or 12 already taken into the LAPD bus. So, they're not messing around anymore. They asked people, they told people that they had to get out of here.
This news station, definitely the more conservative news station.
Every now and then we will.
In LA, I do believe.
Fireworks going off some blocks away. Those are people who.
This is K-Cal.
And are making their way away from.
We oftentimes watch ABC 7. That's my favorite.
Just letting those fireworks go.
Police chase coverage.
You know what,
Guys,
Lori?
back to you.
Again, you were out there last night. This seems to be a little
ABC 7 is Mark Brown.
Even in terms of taking
Mark Brown.
Custody. When they announced unlawful assembly, this group here seemed to acquiesce, if that's the word, and just let the police officers arrest them, as opposing to resist like they did last night.
I think. Right, and I think that for some of these people, perhaps the act of being detained and being arrested is also an expression of their frustration and shows how much they are willing to do in order to make a point about what they feel about immigration enforcement here in Los Angeles. So, perhaps that's why they are as you said, acquiescing or
She can't wrap her head around it.
resisting it all, because they do see it as another act, if you will, of defiance in this. But yeah, this is happening peacefully and calmly so far. There has not been any resistance or fighting from what we've seen.
All right, thank you so much, Laura.
Hundreds more military troops are being deployed to Los Angeles tonight at the direction of the president.
This as the state is filing a lawsuit to get them out. And KCAL's Leslie Marin joins us now with more information. Leslie?
Yeah, Pat and Rudabeh, both the governor.
Yeah, we heard from you earlier, Leslie.
That in addition.
Not that you aren't easy on the eyes. Back to live shot of the AP. Well, thank you for being here, Julie, over on the YouTube. Be sure to like the stream over there. It got split in two. Probably about time for me to get the fuck out of here as well, so I got an animal video for you, and it's a doozy. You guys are gonna enjoy this. Over the last week, there has been a pet zebra on the loose in Tennessee. It was spotted numerous times. This is from before it was captured. It was captured a couple days ago.
On the Run has taken over social media after escaping from its Rutherford County owners. By now, most of us have heard about the zebra the internet has dubbed Ed. He is still on the loose tonight, and as our Aaron Cantrell reports, the search is getting more attention by the day.
We joke a lot, he has went viral, so.
Everyone can't seem to get enough of this missing pet zebra that escaped over the weekend after jumping his owner's fence.
I think the media's named him Ed. I don't think he had time enough to get a good name.
AI images of the zebra have taken over social media.
Oh my God, I hadn't seen any of these.
Ed is doing it, from hanging out in a bar to riding a fair ride. Even we at News Channel 5 could not resist jumping on the trend. And can we talk about how good he looks in that suit?
If you put a T-shirt on him with your logo on the side, everybody in America and England would know about it by now.
Ed may be young, wild, and free for now. But horse trainer Mandy Moats says his girlfriend is starting to pull some of the spotlight.
Even Stripes has got famous on her own accord. Not so much as Ed the famous zebra, but I think it's pretty cool.
Stripes is hanging out in Eagleville at Circle M Stables' gated horse barn because her owner needed somewhere safe for her to stay. Moats says the same owner is the one who is currently searching for Ed with assistance from professional trackers.
We didn't want another one at large, so she's here until we didn't want no more problems, so.
She believes Ed is likely staying hidden somewhere shaded with access to food and water.
If I was a zebra, I would find a big tract of land where there ain't a whole lot going on, and I would just chill out.
Not being spotted since the weekend. Moats thinks it will happen soon if he doesn't get spooked.
I think it's going to take somebody quiet and methodical, somebody with a dart gun. And if you take your time, I believe we can find Ed.
In Rutherford County, Aaron Cantrell, News Channel 5.
I wonder if they're going to keep calling him Ed. They did indeed find Ed. He was airlifted out of Middle Tennessee.
I didn't know what it was initially. I was carrying something on a long rope or whatever it was.
Sunday morning, the view from David and Judy Ball's backyard was a little different than usual.
Because that's such a quiet area back there, and we don't, unless it's somebody farming the field, we don't usually see anybody back there.
What they saw is the result of several days of searching to bring the missing zebra Ed back home. From above, looking almost like a military operation.
Oh yeah, there we go.
The days-long search was a coordinated effort with agencies including the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, Tennessee Highway Patrol, Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, Tango 82 Aviation Crew, Volunteer Drone Services, and more. Rutherford County Sheriff's Office says Ed was located in a pasture near the Ball's home in the Buchanan Estates neighborhood. From there, he was airlifted to a trailer and taken to his owner. Over the past week, Ed, as the public has dubbed him, has become a social media sensation, with millions of eyes all fixed on where he could have been in the Middle Tennessee community. An unforgettable few days for folks like Summer Swallow, who lived down the street from where it all happened.
It's crazy. You know, I see people talk about it on Facebook all the time. They're like, yeah, let's saddle up and go catch the zebra. I'm like, please, it's in my neighborhood. It's been here for a week. So, yeah, please come get it.
A homecoming for the Ball family. It's certainly a Sunday morning for the books.
There's something to tell the grandkids.
In Christiana, Rob Coles, News Channel 5.
Christiana.
I didn't know what it was initially. Was carrying something.
If you're watching on Twitch, I don't know where you're headed. Hold on.
Sunday morning, the view from David and Judy Ball's backyard was a little different than usual.
Because that's such a quiet area back there, and we don't, you know, unless it's somebody farming the field, why, we don't usually see anybody back there.
What they saw is the result of several days of searching to bring the missing zebra Ed back home. From above, looking almost like a military operation.
Oh yeah, there we go.
The days-long search was a coordinated effort with agencies including the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, Tennessee Highway Patrol, Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, Tango 82 Aviation Crew, Volunteer Drone Services, and more. Rutherford County Sheriff's Office says Ed was located in a pasture near the Ball's home in the Buchanan Estates neighborhood. From there, he was airlifted to a trailer and taken to his owner. Over the past week, Ed, as the public has dubbed him, has become a social media sensation, with millions of eyes all fixed on where he could have been in the Middle.
Well, I know exactly where you're going. You're going to go see Media Winch.
A few days for folks like
you're going to get her to show us the new kitty.
Street from where it all happened.
It's crazy.
Twitch people, you're heading over to Media Winch.
All the time. They're like, yeah, let's saddle up and go catch the zebra. I'm like, please, it's in my neighborhood.
Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before we hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
And for the
we'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live.